capital, Kyiv, as the Russian attack on the country enters its second week. BBC correspondents say the blasts could be heard from 2 stories underground in their bunker. Kyiv remains in Ukrainian control, but the southern port of Kherson has become the first major city to be taken. The mayor there said Russian troops had forced their way into the city council building. He had urged them not to shoot at civilians, saying there were no Ukrainian forces in the city. Meanwhile, there have been large explosions overnight in the capital, Kyiv, heavy shelling in the country's second city, Kharkiv, and hundreds of people are feared dead in the port city of Mariupol following hours of sustained shelling. Meanwhile, UK military intelligence says the huge Russian convoy that's about 30 kilometers from the heart of the Ukrainian capital has been held up by local resistance, mechanical problems and congestion. And the UN says 1 million refugees have now left Ukraine since the Russian invasion began. Most have gone to neighbouring countries. An investigation into possible war crimes in Ukraine has begun by the International Criminal Court in The Hague after 39 nations called for an inquiry. And the International Paralympic Committee has said Russian and Belarusian athletes will be banned from the Winter Paralympics, which start in Beijing on Friday. Let's begin this hour by taking an overview of the current situation in Ukraine. Here's a look at a map. There are still conflicting reports from sources on the ground in this conflict, but so far these areas in red are those which are largely controlled by Russian forces. We'll have more analysis in a moment, but first, Mark Lobel with this update.
Another act of aggression caught on camera in the capital, Kyiv, at the end of a live broadcast.
What the hell was that?
CBS's Charlie Daggett describing the moment as 2 of the largest explosions he'd ever experienced. The blasts reportedly went off in the city centre and close to a metro station at around 2 in the morning. They came hours after Russian forces took the strategic port city of Kherson. The mayor of the first major city to fall said he was visited by armed visitors. He simply asked them not to shoot people. The Russians plan to set up a military administration there. Anyone staying must abide by a daily curfew and only walk outside alone. The brutal assault on Ukraine's second largest city, Kharkiv, continues too. To its south, another strategic port city, Mariupol, is also under heavy attack, despite Russian promises not to target cities or civilians. Its mayor says the Russians are intent on destroying them.
Unfortunately, critical infrastructure has been damaged again. We are without light again. We are without water again. We continue to remain without heat.
Northeast of the capital, the Russian military pays a visit to the mayor of Konotop, one holding a grenade aloft in a tense encounter with residents. Their ultimatum, passed on by the mayor to residents, is surrender or face being fired upon from afar. Most appear to want to fight on. In a video message released on Wednesday night from an undisclosed location, Ukraine's president urges all Ukrainians to resist the Russian occupation.
We are a nation that broke the enemy's plans in a week. Plans written for years, sneaky, full of hatred for our country, our people.
At times, Russia's faced embarrassment, whether it's a multi-million-dollar Russian anti-aircraft system towed away by farmers, or Ukrainian men joyriding on a working Russian tank. In battle, Russia says 498 of its troops have been killed and a further 1,597 injured. Ukraine reports more than 2,000 civilians have died so far. The International Criminal Court has opened a war crimes investigation into Russia's invasion of Ukraine after receiving requests from 39 states. A week on, one city down, many Ukrainians stay and fight on, as the UN says the number of refugees fleeing Ukraine has now reached 1 million. Mark Lobel,